Local, experienced, trusted. This is KETK Today.
Rise and shine, East Texas. Today is March 1st. I'm Raina Revel. Thank you very much for joining us on this Wednesday morning. Glad to have you with us. Let's check in with Andrew Samet now with a check of the forecast. Andrew, we are expecting some storms rolling in tomorrow, and right now it's quite muggy out there. What can you share with us this morning?
Yeah, the humidity definitely setting the stage for a couple of rounds of severe weather. The first one is today. We have a much lower chance today, though, than what we're going to see tomorrow. But we'll start with today because, well, it is today. Here's a look at what we have. We have the slight risk in the yellow, which is a level 2 out of 5, which is pretty much the standard severe weather risk area for us. So not looking to see widespread severe weather today, but certainly, especially the farther north you go across the area, the better chance of seeing severe weather. Now, Thursday is the day where we really have to watch closely because we go from a level 2 threat today as our highest threat to a level 4 out of 5 with the moderate risk in the red. It's been several months since we've seen the moderate risk. We last had that moderate risk in that tornado outbreak that happened this past November. So we definitely want to take Thursday very seriously here because, again, this is almost as high as that threat level will go for us. Taking a look at temperatures right now, we are sitting out in the upper 60s to lower 70s, so it is a mild start. It's a bit breezy as well, winds between about 10 and 15 miles per hour north. Still have some calm winds down into deep East Texas. For our day today, we will see a few severe thunderstorms possible, but widespread severe weather is not expected as high temperatures climb into the upper 70s. And then for tonight, we are going to drop down to the upper 60s with scattered showers and a few thunderstorms early on. So definitely stay weather aware today, but really tomorrow is the big severe weather day. More details about that coming up later on in the show. Raina?
Thank you. And with changes on the way and storms in the forecast, make sure to download our East Texas Storm Team app. You can do so right now by scanning this code there right on your screen. Have your phone ready ahead of any bad weather. Track the storms in real time and any severe weather making its way to East Texas. This is just one extra tool you can use to keep you and your family in the know as we head into severe weather season. You can look for it on your mobile phone's app store. And here's something you should know this morning. The Smith County Sheriff's Office recognized the best of the best in law enforcement over the last year, honoring their service to the county. KETK's Ashlyn Anderson attended that ceremony and spoke to an officer who received a special award.
Throughout 2022, the deputies of Smith County put on their badge to serve. Many, like Patrol Deputy John McClain, were recognized during the Sheriff's Office annual banquet for their excellence when on duty.
We award Patrol Deputy John McClain with the Lorenzo Bustos Memorial Rookie of the Year Award.
McClain received an old award with a new name, the Lorenzo Bustos Memorial Peace Officer Rookie of the Year Award, honoring the deputy who was killed in the line of duty while training in July of 2022.
I just hope that I can do this award justice. At first I was shocked. I didn't know I was getting this award, but at the end I feel very honored. Bustos was highly looked up to by everybody on shift, everybody in the department. So to be receiving this award tonight, it's an honor.
The award acknowledges McClain's exemplary work in the field.
I'm going to go out and do like I've been doing. I'm going to continue working hard, try to make everything like I should, and hopefully do well.
Gloria Bustos is still wrapping her mind around having an award in her husband's honor.
Very emotional, not how we anticipated, or he anticipated to receive an award, but I know we feel very honored.
Reminiscing often about her late husband's character and how much he wanted this job.
He was a big-hearted, kind person, always wanting to help the community, everyone, always there for everyone, and just a great person.
McClain hopes that when he puts on his badge every day, he continues to be the man that earned this award.
Doing what's right when no one's looking, you know, even though he's looking down on me, still doing what I need to do.
And for years to come, through this memorial award, the entire force will always remember Lorenzo Bustos and the lives he's changed.
Hopefully just make him proud. I know he's looking down on each and every one of us, being protective over us, so I'm just hoping everything I do will just reflect and honor him.
You know, he gave the ultimate sacrifice, and he earned this.
Ashlyn Anderson, KETK News.
Achievement awards were given out to the patrol officers who were by Lorenzo's side. His wife thanks the entire community for their messages and continued support. And happening today in Lufkin, the municipal court is offering a warrant amnesty program through April 13th, meaning anyone with an active outstanding warrant can take this opportunity to save some money and get a fresh start. All warrant fees will be removed when you contact the court and pay half of what you owe or start a payment plan for the full amount. Also, anyone who pays in full will save 20% off the fine amount. In a developing story this morning, the U.S. House Homeland Security Committee held its first hearing since Republicans regained control. Republican Congressman Mark Green is serving as chairman. The hearing is titled, quote, "Every state is a border state," examining Secretary Mayorkas' border crisis. The committee is focused on border security, national security, and how fentanyl has greatly impacted American lives.
This hearing should be a wake-up call for committee members to end the madness and work together to secure our southern border. Our colleagues across the aisle must acknowledge the humanitarian tragedy at our borders and the increasing threat that the Mayorkas border crisis places on every congressional district in this nation.
The hearing comes after the Biden administration expanded a humanitarian parole program to include Haitian, Venezuelan, Nicaraguan, and Cuban migrants, a move largely criticized by Republican lawmakers. The U.S. Marshal Service has been hit by a ransomware attack targeting sensitive law enforcement information. NBC News has learned the attack took place about a week ago. The Marshal Service released a statement about the incident, saying the damage had been contained to what they called a standalone system that they disconnected from the network. A senior law enforcement official said the stolen data included details and case files about fugitives, but added there wasn't a big risk if the material became public. It has been 30 years since the deadly raid at a ranch belonging to the religious sect known as the Branch Davidians in Waco. We're going back into the KETK archives to show you the ties their leader, David Koresh, has to East Texas. Take a look.
Waco. The name has become synonymous with standoffs, with people comparing more recent events such as the 2014 conflict between Clive Bundy and the feds in Nevada to the incident at the Branch Davidian compound a quarter century later. Most have an idea of what happened. The Davidians and ATF shot at each other. The two sides were at a stalemate and the buildings burned. But those who were there remember it vividly.
Well, it was a cold, dreary day. It was cold, rainy, February 28th, 1993.
Parnell McNamara, now sheriff of McLennan County, was a U.S. Marshal with more than 20 years of law enforcement experience at the time. He, along with more than 100 other law enforcement members, were set to enter Mount Carmel after the ATF secured the compound. McNamara recalls sitting in his vehicle listening to Clint Black on the radio.
Then, all of a sudden, an ATF car drives up right to us and said, "We're in a terrible shootout. We got people shot, maybe dead."
All McNamara could do was hear the cries for help and the sound of people being shot. That's when ATF commanders shared the sobering news.
They give us a briefing that all hell's broken loose.
That would lead to the well-known end of David Koresh, but his beginnings were much different and are rooted right here in East Texas. See, Koresh wasn't born into the cult. In fact, he wasn't born David Koresh at all.
He was born Vernon Howell on August 17, 1959, to a 14-year-old single mother named Bonnie Sue Clark. He wouldn't change his name until 1990 when he was 31. As a young boy, he lived with his grandmother in Chandler, Texas. When Koresh was 18, he moved to Tyler and joined a Seventh-day Adventist church. When he was 22, he believed he was given a sign from God to marry the preacher's daughter, who was 15 at the time. Koresh was thrown out of the church, and after this, he moved to Waco and discovered the Branch Davidians.
They had a very strong belief in the end time, as predicted or prophesied by the 7 seals of the book of Revelation.
Koresh began preaching and started a sexual relationship with Lois Roden. At the time, she was in her late 60s and the president of the Davidian Seventh-day Adventist Church at Mount Carmel. Her son, George Roden, who was poised to be the next leader, was not a fan of Koresh.
In 1983, Koresh was forced out of Mount Carmel at gunpoint. He would spend the next 2 years in exile, gathering more followers here, living in tents in Anderson County outside of Palestine.
I was chief deputy for the sheriff's office at that time, and we get a few complaints every once in a while, and basically because of more welfare concern than anything, because they had no running water and they had no electricity.
Koresh would often send children to neighboring homes to gather water, and over time the community's general consensus shifted from concern to annoyance. These complaints caught the attention of Gary Thomas, who was the newly elected sheriff in 1985. Thomas sent deputies to the Anderson County compound to talk to the Davidians. Koresh became agitated and went to speak with Sheriff Thomas. After the meeting, Thomas learned all he needed to know about Koresh.
He surely didn't like any authority figure going out there trying to tell him what to do. You know, he felt that he should be able to live out there and do exactly what he wanted, and didn't want to follow the law or the rules or whatever you want to call them.
Thomas had 2 deputies who managed to build rapport with the Davidians. Through them, Thomas learned more about the group and sensed trouble was on the horizon. It started with a simple custody battle. Thomas got a call from a man in California who wanted his 2 kids back from his wife, who was at the Anderson County compound.
That didn't go over too well, but they did get the kids out.
While this may have upset Koresh, to Thomas it was nothing more than mere drama. But soon after, he learned of more Davidian actions that really worried him.
They were buying weapons, all the weapons they could. As the sheriff of this county, you know, it was concerning.
Then one day in 1985, they returned to Mount Carmel. There, George Roden was struggling as a leader and felt he needed to prove himself. Koresh's goal to take charge of the Branch Davidians at Mount Carmel was now within his grasp, and a final confrontation between George Roden and Koresh was brewing.
That resulted in a physical confrontation between Roden and some of his followers and David and some of his followers, and it ended up in gunfire.
Though George Roden was wounded in the battle, he managed to speak to the sheriff first.
Sheriff Jack Harwell called David on the telephone and said, "There are charges filed against you. You have to surrender, and I want you to bring the guns that were used in the gunfight."
Koresh and his followers did just that.
The case went to court where Koresh and his followers were acquitted and a mistrial was declared. But 2 years later, George Roden murdered his roommate and was locked away in a mental institution.
That was former KETK reporter Matthew Thibodeau with our From the Archives report. Tomorrow on KETK Today, we'll take a closer look at the siege itself and learn from those who witnessed it firsthand exactly what happened during those 51 days. It is now 5:14 a.m. Coming up next, state tournament week for high school basketball. How Natchez is sending off their ladies team as they gear up for state.
Rise and shine East Texas. You're watching KETK Today.
Welcome back. Now it's time to check in with Andrew Samet as we have some severe weather ramping up within the next few hours. Andrew, what can you tell us?
All right, Raina, we've got multiple rounds of severe weather, one today and then another one tomorrow. Today's severe weather threat's not as high as tomorrow's, but still want to stay weather aware today. Here's a look at Longview with our Skyview camera brought to you by the Monsoor Law Firm. We are off to a quiet start. You can see the winds are pretty strong out there, though. South-southwest, 10 miles per hour. Current temperature 70 degrees, so very warm out there. Now for the day on Wednesday, here's a look at the breakdown of the severe weather threats. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and large hail as the primary concerns here. Again, large hail can be pretty big over in our northernmost areas, where it can't rule out the size of 2 inches in diameter, which is the size of about a hen egg, and then slightly higher than that. In fact, we do have that area of significant hail potential highlighted in the purple here. It includes places like Linden, Gilmer, Mineola, Quitman, Emory, Sulphur Springs, Mount Vernon, Mount Pleasant, Pittsburgh. If you are in those locations or the surrounding area, you have the potential for some very large hail that can do significant damage potentially. Again, once we start talking about quarter-size hail, that can already start to do damage. That's why it's considered severe weather. But once you get up to the 2 inches in diameter, which is about double the size of a quarter, it gets really big and destructive out there. So remember to take it easy. And if you are under a severe thunderstorm warning, try to get off the roads as soon as you can, because there is that potential for some very large hail. And if you are driving with that large hail, that will only increase the force on your car's windshield. So definitely do not drive through hail. Now, taking a look at our severe weather threats for Thursday, this is a much higher risk. Damaging wind gusts in excess of 75 miles per hour looks to be the primary concern here, followed by a tornado, some of which could be strong. Large hail could also be 2 inches in diameter or greater. So some very large hail, destructive straight line winds, and then potentially significant tornadoes for us. It's certainly a possibility heading into the day on Thursday. Here's what Futurecast has going forward. Can't rule out a shower or storm this morning, but during the afternoon we'll be tracking any activity that does develop. You can see by 5 o'clock why those showers and storms really fire up north of Interstate 20 in particular. And then we will get a bit of a break in the action overnight. Futurecast does have a few storms moving in overnight into early Thursday. That activity is unlikely to be severe, though, but we are going to see thunderstorms really ramp up Thursday afternoon, and we will see those storms gradually form in a line and then push through the area as we head throughout your Thursday evening. Here 6 o'clock, the line is pushing on through the area. Right along the leading edge of that line, we will have that threat of hurricane force straight line wind gusts. And then as we head towards 8, 9 o'clock, the rain and storms will start to exit the area and should be out of here by midnight tonight, or midnight Thursday night into the day on Friday. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast now. We are going to see those temperatures on the warmer side for us for the next couple of days here. Again, we'll start with the Tyler, Longview, Jacksonville area. Severe weather alert day for Thursday, so make sure to stay weather aware. We're much colder for the day on Friday with those highs in the upper 50s, but then we'll warm up slightly heading into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. In fact, we're back into the upper 70s as early as Monday. And then for deep East Texas, it is more of the same. Look for that severe weather threat for the day on Thursday, and then we'll be drier for the weekend.
All righty. Well, hot and muggy and rainy, and definitely keeping an eye on those storms coming in.
Yeah, on Thursday in particular, we have the potential for a severe weather outbreak. So definitely serious stuff. All
right. Well, we will definitely stay tuned to your East Texas Storm Team app and, of course, here with Andrew.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Andrew. It is now 5:20 a.m. and here's something you should know. Time is running out to visit Art Alley in Tyler. After more than 2 years, the city is starting to fresh up, covering the old painting this weekend. We're being told applications are already pouring in for the next phase. The deadline is March 26th, and the painting should be up this summer. It is now 5:21 a.m. Coming up next on KETK Today, state tournament week for high school basketball, how Natchez is sending off their ladies team as they gear up for state, coming up in sports.
With meteorologist Andrew Sammett.
Well, saying that yesterday was warm for the end of February may have been an understatement here, as high temperatures climbed up to 88 degrees yesterday in Hemphill, 86 in Lufkin, 84 in Nacogdoches and Center, 86 was the high in Tyler, 85 for the high in Longview. It was very, very warm out there yesterday. For today, we will be slightly cooler due to the fact that we'll see more clouds and a chance for some showers and storms, but we're also going to see more humidity today than what we saw yesterday. High temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. We will see that risk of a few strong to severe thunderstorms this afternoon. For tonight, we are going to see those mild and muggy conditions continuing as temperatures drop down to the upper 60s to low 70s overnight tonight. And then for your day on Thursday, we'll once again see a very warm day with highs in the upper 70s to lower 80s. A cold front moves in Thursday, though, will knock down the temperatures for Friday. More details coming up in the next half hour. Raina?
Andrew, thank you. In your sports news this morning, it is state tournament week for high school girls basketball, but in Natchez, they were celebrating both teams as the girls get ready to go to San Antonio while the boys were leaving for their regional quarterfinal matchup in Fairfield. The school celebrated both programs, holding a pep rally. For the Lady Tigers, they will be making their third trip in a row to the Alamo Dome. The Natchez girls went 32-2 this season and undefeated undefeated in district play. For the boys, they just recently tipped off against Abbott, looking to punch their ticket to the regional tournament. It's a small school, but it's surrounded by a loyal community, hoping both teams can bring home a title.
Well, it's exciting. It's always exciting, and when you have people come out and support you, and the kids there, it gets exciting. It's what it's all about. You know, small schools, small communities, they're out supporting each other all the time.
Oh my gosh, the support and the support system behind us all, it's amazing. Nobody ever doubts us. They're all behind us. They just uplift us. They're all here for us.
The community support here is great. Basketball is a big deal here. They support the girls and boys both alike, and our community is excited about where we're at right now.
The Natchez Lady Tigers leave bright and early on Wednesday today to get to San Antonio for practice at 3:30. And let's head to West Palm Beach, Florida, as the Houston Astros took on the Mets in spring training action. Top of the first, 2 on for Jose Abreu, and he cracks this ball into the left field corner. 1 run will score, and the Astros get on the scoreboard early. Still in the first, Houston now up 3-0 when David Hensley gets all of this one, and it will carry over the center field wall. A 2-run homer as the Astros make it 5-0. Houston beats New York 8-4. They will take on the Boston Red Sox today at noon in Florida. It is now 5:27 a.m. In the next half hour of KETK Today, serving our neighbors overseas, see the driving force for these East Texans to help Ukrainian refugees in person.